Hello, everyone. Let's see a little. Okay, I'm live here. Perfect. Let me know if you're here. Guys, hi, boss. But click on the name, otherwise, I can't see who you are. Hi, Francie. Okay, they are coming. Guys, tonight I brought you another top guest. Tonight I bring you some news, precisely because it will be a different interview, a totally different approach, a person of high caliber, and therefore I am really happy to bring them to you tonight. So come on, let's mix it up a bit. Now, as soon as we reach the number, we'll always give 2 minutes for the latecomers. Then I have to give you some news, and then we'll bring in the guest and start the live. Hi, Francie. Hi, Sandro. Hi, Luca. Great, Leo. Hi, Gio. You need to click because I don't know who you are. Hi, Anto. Hi, Claudia. The new lessons are ready. Let's talk about them now. Hi, Andre. Hi, Ale. Hi, everyone. Hi, Stay. Come on, let's get to. Hi, Ale. Let's get to about 30 people and we'll start, guys. Okay. I didn't set a reminder for you today, but I see you're here anyway. Come on. Come on, just one more minute for the last latecomers. Is it possible to ask questions afterwards? Yes, of course. Okay, everyone is arriving. I see the number is going up. Come on, guys. It's almost starting. Me too. Great, Vanya. Come on. Hello. Okay, the last one and we go. Okay. So, guys, a quick news update, and then I'll bring in the guest. The update lessons for the course are almost ready. Okay. Basically, yesterday, which was Sunday, I spent some time watching the entire course, and there will be more updates. So many updates, many nice new things we will be doing. However, we have updated everything related to ads, everything related to anti-ban, and there will be some very, very interesting bonuses. To request the update, it will not be released automatically. What I ask is that I will give you a form, and you need to make the request yourself. So, you just need to enter your first name and last name and provide your email. At the end of this form, you will be asked if you want to. It's not mandatory. Okay, so you can also check and say no if you want to give us a video review. Okay, obviously an honest video review where you say what you think about the course. Maybe talk about your past experiences. Then I'll still leave you the outline. Because guys, it would help us a lot. You know how much effort we put in. You know how much value we bring to you every Monday. So it's not mandatory, of course. Even if you don't do it, you will still get the updates. But it's a favor that Giuseppe and I are asking because it would really help us a lot to have video reviews to show other people the value that is provided within our community, the level of our community. So I would be very grateful additionally. But this is a personal thing. I have decided that whoever does it, whoever makes this video review, will receive a gift from me. It's not about free consultations. It's not about different information. No, everyone will get the updates. Everyone will get the information. So that's not the point. But whoever does it, okay, they will be rewarded. This is the new policy of the group. I give a bit to those I see, making an effort to those I see contributing, and I will reward them. So, without further ado, guys, I'll bring in tonight's guest and we'll have a nice chat.
Hello.
Hello, Ricardo, Gio. How are you? See you here.
Well, a pleasure for me too.
So, guys, as you can imagine, Joe is our student. From the Infinity program, he has achieved some good goals, and therefore, tonight, he decided to be here and share his testimony. So I'll hand it over to him so he can give a presentation, and then we'll get into the heart of it, as always.
So, guys, I'll tell you a bit about my story until our Ricardo interrupts me to ask some questions. I am a trainer in other fields as well, actually, also part of publishing, but at other, let's say, other levels, closed groups, other things, other discussions. I started as a trainer mainly for the communication part and for the part more related to match betting, so the part related to sports bonuses and other types of discussions regarding this. And so this is the main activity, but I also handle the marketing for another company. So I do many things in my life. I started the publishing journey precisely to diversify what I was already doing, which was also very profitable for me and which still benefits me a lot. So I started with another school. Okay, with another school. And there I immediately began dedicating myself to ACX, leaving aside the KDP topic. I don't know. It wasn't a time when I saw interesting things. Maybe now that I remember well, Ricardo, it was the time when there were still codes, they were running out. So I practically joined when there were codes. So I remember that publishing on ACX was in vogue. So I say, well, I'll go straight to ACX and I'll start slow, a 20-hour project.
Light.
Yes, strictly written by the best writing agency to not miss out on anything. So how did I spend these 20 hours?
Was there madness? 6 to 7K?
No, at the time they were much cheaper, but I still spent absolutely yes. Well, maybe for the whole project. 5K was spent, yes. I must say that just like when I take courses as a student, I meticulously follow what the current instructor tells me. And despite being an instructor myself in various fields, I continue to study. I am here this evening, and from Ricardo and Giuseppe, I have learned so many things. Absolutely, yes. All right. I start, and that's where my journey on Audible begins. So I really enjoyed this journey. But with Audible, I quickly realized that there were a lot of issues. First of all, it was uncontrollable in everything. You launch the project. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Here it's amen. Finished. Okay. So it went well for me. The first project started to take off. It began to produce my first one, if 500, 2,000 euros per month. And then I decided to go all in. So I did 3 more 20-hour projects. One went well, but the other 2 didn't work out. I tried to relaunch them in various ways, but there was no way. The codes were already gone, so I didn't recover costs through the codes because just when I was about to publish, the code system crashed. From there, looking at my career in publishing, let's say I anchored it quite a bit. I put it aside, so I left it there until one fine day. A guy sends me a message. He tells me a new bomb is about to drop. And that guy had posted a dashboard of 50K, something like that. So I say, nice. Let's see what this Ricardo has to offer. And then it worked out. You guys came out with this super course with this course. And I clearly decided to take the top you had. So, okay, what's the most complete package? Give me that one. Okay.
What intrigued you, Gio? What made you think and say, wow, they are onto something? Let me try it because, by the way, Gio was one of the very first to trust us. So it's not like now when there are a lot of interviews and you were really among the first. So what inspired you?
So, first of all, your simplicity, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. This has definitely been a very important first point. The fact that I had already seen you within the environment, so I had also seen your results, yes. And then you touched on a very important point, that is, when everyone else is aiming for quality, you come out with a highly polarizing message, like, guys, quality doesn't matter at all. Now, it's one thing if the last person who just arrived says it. Someone who's making dashboards for 200, 300 euros, 1000 euros, okay? They're just spouting this stuff. It's a different story when it's said by someone who puts out a 50,000 euro dashboard. Let's talk about it. The weight you give it is completely different. And so I said, okay, I want to see what they come up with because I absolutely want to get it.
Okay, so let's dive into our journey and tell us a bit about how it went, how you found it. So then, once you entered, the first thing you did was study the video course. Compared to the information you received previously, how was it? Did you find anything that made you realize there are different approaches, that things need to be done differently?
Yes, so when I took the course, I immediately noticed an important change in mindset. Look, my first reaction as an entrepreneur was, why didn't I think of this before? I mean, it's not possible. It's so incredibly simple. I mean, while everyone else complicates it, you simplify it. And I say, why didn't I think of this before? It's not possible. This was my very first reaction. In fact, from there, what did I do? I saw many differences between the previous paths and this one. Absolutely, yes. First of all, as we said before, the lack of importance given to the quality of the product, even though the product is somewhere in between. The product must be important, otherwise we'll get flooded with negative reviews, but at the same time, it doesn't need to have the quality that today is sold on the market for a book at 800 euros. That's the point.
You gladly acknowledge the fact that there is no real difference in quality, in the sense that the product is ultimately the same whether you pay 100 or 800. And this is the main point. Then, obviously, sure, quality is not necessary within the book. But always, guys, with a bit of discernment, we can sell pitiful books. However, understanding where it is right to focus attention.
Exactly. And so I started the journey with Giuseppe. We had the calls. For Giuseppe, my situation was a bit problematic because I was dedicating my entire day to my other projects. Here, yes, I wanted to resume because I knew it could give me excellent results. And with your program, it was the right time to start again. But on the other hand, guys, I didn't want to put all my time into it either because I would have had to take time away from something that was already working well for me. Okay, so it didn't make sense. So what did I do? I joined the call with Giuseppe and my team. I formed a team before reaching him. Actually, we were already doing some publishing before getting on a call with Giuseppe, so we already knew each other with this team. When we got on the call with Giuseppe, we talked about many things, including various percentages, tasks, duties, and everything else. But we didn't get into gear. I mean, there was something that wasn't working. You know when? You have calls weekly, but you realize that something isn't right. And consider that it was like this, Ricardo. The approach with Giuseppe was like this. We start off strong. There are no capital problems. So what does Giuseppe do? If Giuseppe pushes I repeat, he is telling me this. I paid him to be my consultant. He tells me this. I do what he says, period. All right. We make an enormous amount of books. Really? A lot? Okay. I don't know, like 40 books. Let's go into production right away with 40 books. Okay? Consider something like that.
I'm already doing my calculations. I already see myself being assigned profits because 40 books, I say. But even if they only bring me 1,000 each, 600 each, it's still money. Okay, team super busy. 0 results. So the team was practically like this, just to ask a bit, you come with your team. And so it was completely delegated. You were kind of the brain and the financier, basically. But the guys had to coordinate and do everything.
I absolutely helped them coordinate everything, but they did all the phases themselves, and actually, it's not that I wasn't getting results, the results were coming. So much so that Giuseppe says, you know that among us, among my private students, there is a competition. That is, the one who finishes and reaches the goal first. And I wanted to be that student for him. I say, boss, absolutely yes. I am the first to reach the goal to hit the target. But account ban, the reason was misleading. So account ban, by the way, there was CX on that account. My fault. I did all these activities on the main account where there was CX, not at the beginning. Some time has passed, and now, for 3 months, I've been banned from there too, because it's not that they banned me, but they said, look, there are no more books on Amazon, so we can't sell them from here anymore, and so the account is closed. Okay, so what do we do? What don't we do? The team had put in a lot of effort, because I'm simplifying it for you now, but in total it had been 3 months of work, something like this, where the team worked a lot to go into production with 40 books between covers, briefs, setting up the book, checking this, checking that. Okay, it was a good job. So, at the moment when we were supposed to reap the benefits, the bun arrived.
Okay.
The bun arrives, but we continue with Giuseppe anyway. Perfect. Let's do everything that needs to be done to restart, and we restart. This time, however, we learn from the lessons and diversify. So not just on one account, but we put some books on one, some books on another, and some on another. Perfect. Let's make at least 3 accounts. Good. We create 3 accounts, but something has changed. I can't explain what. But we don't move forward. I mean, we have calls, we do everything, and we don't move. So much so that one day Giuseppe says to me, it can't be like this. It can't be like this. There are people who joined. Yesterday they are doing more than you, who are 3 with 40 books. It can't be like this. And I clearly agreed with him, Ricardo, but I didn't know where to go from there. Because if we do everything you tell us and the results don't come, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. Okay, so what do I do? I'm going to Dubai and taking the opportunity to visit Giuseppe. It's a good half day together. We talk, and Giuseppe tells me, look, there's something not working in the team. I mean, it's really not possible. I don't know if you're not giving it the right attention, but there's something wrong. I had noticed this problem while I was on my way to Dubai. I mean, I noticed that the team, after the ban, one person in particular was, how to say, a bit demoralized. Okay, he had somewhat let go, so he would hand me the projects like that without giving them the proper attention. Again, I am someone who takes responsibility for everything because I believe it is the right thing to do, and it is not interesting to blame others. Again, here too, Ricardo, I say, mea culpa. Why didn't you realize right away that they were excluding you from projects? Why didn't I check the projects? Because by then I trusted this person and didn't check the projects. I mean, there's the other person who takes care of it. My team was structured in this way. One person handled keyword research, book uploading, brief production, cover production, and everything else. The other person only dealt with ads. What was the problem? That this was doing a terrible job for me. Sure. And this one didn't check the work. Just looked at the ads, didn't open the book pages. Sure, thanks. Okay, consequently, I found myself with a person who gave me projects that were terrible, maybe, descriptions that were poorly formatted or maybe well formatted. But when you read them, they had duplicate parts. They repeated themselves. Okay. Later, while reviewing the projects, I found a lot of things that were not right. But at that moment, I wasn't checking. Whether it was because I had a lot of things or because I trusted, the fact is that I didn't check. This was a very important mistake that guys, I hope to share with you tonight some of the mistakes I made, which cost me quite a bit, so that if you want to delegate in this activity, you can. I'll also tell you how now. So I talk to Giuseppe, we assess the situation, and I say, okay, Giuseppe, look at this team. I need to change it. Lee's one is not communicating with the other. The other is not doing the work well. Nothing is running. So yes, we went into production, but we didn't dedicate the right attention to the project. And you know as well that it's not just about telling the writer to make this book and then publishing it, and that's it. I mean, a minimum of attention is needed. Okay, don't spend 3 days creating the buyer persona like I used to. Do a long time ago, always related to other schools, okay? 3 days of buyer persona, but doing research, understanding exactly what your consumer wants, understanding that you have a customer in front of you, not a robot, understanding these things, always keeping them in mind, and studying and processing them, incorporating them into your project. This is very, very important. And it was something we were not doing at that moment. So I came back from Dubai determined that I had to sort out this situation here. I had to fix it. In short, I had to change because this way we weren't getting anywhere. So what did I do? I talked with the guys, with the team, and made them understand that we couldn't go on like this. Consequently, one admitted to me that after the bunny, he had lost all motivation, while the other guy wanted to continue but couldn't understand that he also needed to look at the books. As an ads specialist, you can't just focus on the Amazon ads part and never open the product pages, because otherwise you won't understand if the book isn't performing well due to a lack of reviews or because it's lacking this or that. Okay? So by not doing this, I told him, no, look, this isn't working. We can't go on like this. Okay? I need to find a way to go. And consequently, I am replacing these 2 guys with 2 other guys from the team. And not only
You take them off, and I put 3 on.
I take them out and put in 2 others. You ask why 2 and not 1.
These people you brought in, did they already have some knowledge of publishing? Did you make them study the course? Where did you find them?
At the beginning, no, I trained these guys here, so I trained them from the start. We did everything together practically. I mean, I was already trained by other courses. As I told you, I had never published on KDP, but to go on ACX, you have to publish on KDP. So I knew how to do all the publishing and keyword research and everything else. Okay, I was missing some very important details to reach, slightly higher figures, but I absolutely knew how to do the technical and practical part, and it had already brought me results. Consequently, I had trained them. When we got to Giuseppe, then Giuseppe tells me, no, show them the course too, because I need them to understand certain concepts that I explained to them. that Ricardo explains to them in the course. Okay, I also showed them the course. And then, of course, we went further. For the new guys, the same. I trained them too. And they also watched the course. Absolutely, yes. With them, it was different because when I decided to leave with them, I had a very different reasoning. So it was no longer about going with 40 books or a ton of books. No. Guys, we're starting from scratch. So today we'll take stock and start again from here. Okay? Let's take the books we have, 2 at a time, and organize them until they work, because the keywords are profitable. Yes, the ones that are not profitable, we set aside. The ones that are profitable must work. And this, Ricardo, was an important evolutionary change for me. That is what you were saying earlier, where your course had an impact. I couldn't think of it before, but now I can tell you it's one of the things besides the quality of the book, which honestly I had never absolutely thought about, partly out of fear, partly because, the trainer tells me this is right, so I do that. I have always stayed within the writing guidelines. The other important thing was this. That is, I forgot. I got lost.
You were saying the thing you understood, thanks to my course, that you told me before, but I couldn't tell you now.
Yes, I forgot about it. What was I talking to you about before?
Hey guys.
All right, let's move on.
You told me that you practically started over. You made a clean slate. You put a stop. You said, let's relaunch the books 2 at a time. And if the keywords are profitable, they have to come.
Here it is, the very important concept. I hadn't missed it. If the keywords are profitable, the book must go. And this is a very important concept, guys, that I learned from this course, because the paradigm wasn't this. The paradigm was the 80-21. You keep publishing. And out of 100 books, you know that you'll discard 80 and 20 will succeed.
But why is it said like that there? In other training places, is it said like that because when there is a conflict of interest, meaning I profit if you publish new books because you usually use various services. So I will tell you it's normal. It's the Pareto principle. Publish another 10 books. No. But if you publish other books, you haven't understood where you went wrong before. Second, in terms of entrepreneurship, you are making a mistake because you should optimize the resources you have and the time you have previously used. So if the keyword is profitable and we can compete for it, meaning it's mathematical, the variables that influence the purchase are limited. Therefore, if you manage all these variables, you will sell. You will sell as the top result for the keyword. It's impossible not to sell.
Of course. In fact, if there's a market, if people are going to buy that particular topic, why change the book? Work to make that book of yours appealing, knowing that it's a topic people want today. That's why I told you before, look, I found some really simple concepts in this journey that helped me to completely change my path, but really simple. I tell you, how did I not think of it before? Okay. But these same concepts are the ones that make you take an important turn. I have covered all the basics around publishing in general, so I also have courses on the mindset for self-publishing and things like that. Okay. But none of that, everything is always tied to the 80-20, always everything tied to the... And so when I saw this information, it was like a light. You know what I mean? It lights up. You're in a dark room. The light turns on. Bam. You start to see and you say, wow, until today, I didn't understand anything.
But I really like Georgie to bring examples from publishing, from online business. We can say from physical business examples, right? Because people understand it better, right? It's like saying that I tell you, oh yes, and we open the restaurant. I always use the example of restaurants. So we decide to open 3 restaurants in Milan. And 1 is fine, and 2 go wrong. What's the approach? Well, yes, let those 2 fail. Just follow Pareto's law and make money with the other one. What a damn reasoning. The question is another one. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. I'll leave it there. Monitor it. Fix it so that it continues to go well. But I'll focus on the others. Why these other two restaurants? Exactly. What can I fix?
See if they can be saved. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you were an expert and got the position wrong. You made a mistake, and that's fine. In that case, you say, I'll close it. Like for us with the book, you get the keyword wrong. You get the topic completely wrong. Never mind. If I can't recycle it in another way, I'll throw it away.
But if the keyword, meaning the place where we opened the restaurant, is profitable because the one in front makes a lot of money, because we are in the center of Milan, and therefore the area is inevitably profitable, we need to understand. So we ask ourselves some questions. Why does the restaurant in front of us, right there in front of us, sell more than we do? Do they have friendlier staff? Has the best menu? Definitely has the coolest arrival. So everything that is to bring it back into the book. So it has more reviews, a nicer cover, a better description, more royalties, so it has more play with the ads. Let's understand what needs to be fixed. And just like with a restaurant, it can be brought to sell well, because a pitiful restaurant today can really start selling strongly in a few months with the right improvements. The same goes for the book. So this is the correct approach, right?
Exactly. So I introduced my new team to Giuseppe, and we started again, this time with 2 projects. Ready, set, go, these 2. Actually, I did something that Giuseppe didn't like very much. I'll tell you right away. Which is that these guys here who are in my team also do other activities. So it's not their main activity, and they are both very busy with their other main activities. So publishing is a 5th or 6th activity for everyone. Let's say an extra activity. And partly because of the time, and partly because I felt I wasn't ashamed, but I felt strange about the idea of going for consultancy with Giuseppe again. I mean, being a coach myself. I hate people who come to me and waste my time. Okay. And I wasn't wasting Giuseppe's time at all, on the contrary. But I said no. I've now taken everything I needed, or at least the most important part, from Giuseppe. There's no point in going on a call with him again, okay? So he hadn't seen me for a couple of months. He says to me, Johnny, are you still alive? And I pull out the 5,000 euro dashboard. Yes, I'm still alive, and how? Okay. So we had another call, and I explained to them that it was pointless for me to join the call because I was still finishing training them. And there were a whole series of things. They still had to watch a part of the course. So this thing was justified. I mean, I would have gone to him, but it didn't make sense. Yes, just to say, hi, Giuseppe, how are you? So we did this, we did that. Okay, I won't even show them. I had already understood most of it. We had already had other calls. I had understood the process. I had understood how to do things. I changed the team. We had been having calls for months. So what was the point of going there just to repeat the same things? We had the calls recorded. We had everything, and it was pointless. I also wanted to come with some results. All right, I'll send him the dashboard for 5,000 euros. He doesn't seem too happy about the fact that I didn't join the call, but never mind. I'll raise the price the next month with the dashboard at $11,000. But now I'm going to glue. And so we started with Giuseppe to review a little what I was doing, how I structured it. I explained to him briefly how we were moving forward. The situation was clearly going well, and we closed last month with the beauty of $23,000 with 30% of ATS. So about 6,000 euros of ATS, more or less. Actually, it's a 25% increase.
A ROAS 4. Almost ROAS 4 practically. In short, you can make things work.
Absolutely, yes. The very important mistake that I can take as a lesson for the change from one team to another was not being actively involved myself. Now I am the one who looks at the books. I am the one who checks if the work is done well. I go and look at the product pages. So, yes, I have people who work for me, who do the ads, who upload the book. I am not the one pressing the buttons and uploading the book, but the control is mine. Okay, that is delegation cannot replace. The entrepreneur, it cannot replace your control.
Absolutely. Let's say that in the context of LGX, it's important to have feedback and checks. I mean, I can tell someone to do a certain thing, but I need to be sure that they are working well. I mean, I can't hand over the fate of my business to him, like do this, to have some schemes. Then now Gio will explain to us well how he has organized himself, what his procedural process is, maybe for publication, how one department communicates with another, how he supervises everything. But it is absolutely essential that the person is there, that they are present. Now, later we will have the team discussion with all the various questions. Now, I want to ask another couple of questions. I don't know if you have the KDP dashboard at hand or if your collaborators have access, because you are those WPS.
They have it, absolutely no access.
Okay. And another thing, you were telling me earlier about the mindset topic, right? I'd like to discuss it a bit with you. I mean, regarding the mindset, on the publishing side, how do you see it? I mean, has it been simplified for you here as well? What is your vision of things?
Yes, very simplified. I mean, here's the thing. If you had a confused picture before, Ricardo and I are very practical people. So, I need to have a clear direction. What you have given me is a well-drawn picture where I see point A, point B, point C, and consequently, for me, it's about connecting the dots before what I saw before. About publishing was so
Confusion.
yes, because you see very interesting dashboards in other groups, but then when you dig deeper, there's no one who can explain how they do it. I mean, there's the one who says, well, 80-20, these are the 20 that sell for me. And you're always there thinking, well, then I have to keep publishing, publish, and then you have to do the math. I think with the 80-20 rule, you can also make a 30K dashboard, but you have to see if you're in the positive. You need to look at the ads. Exactly. You need to look at the ads. Then there's the one who says, oh, look, it's all about the cover, so I do it myself. For me, it's a problem because I'm not a graphic designer. And in fact, I don't even like it. So the idea of sitting there, making the cover myself, don't care. I give up on the business. I'm not interested. I go. I stick to my main job, which is better. But no.
Which side cover helped you? Our course, cover side.
Did a handball help you? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Because they are simple, but essential instructions. Okay, I'll repeat it here too. But how can you not realize that you need to go to this phone, open it, and look at the cover that 99% of people look at from their phone? So the size will be that. And then you need to make a whole series of considerations related to that. And yet you don't do them, Ricardo. And yet you don't do them. So these things here were all things that,
Yes, the light bulb goes off. Damn, why didn't I think of that? Because they are simple things. They are simple things that you just don't think about. You don't think about them, partly because you've been taught differently. Exactly, but I believe that the clarity of our course is precisely due to not having any kind of conflict of interest. Why? Because if I create complexity for you in many things, brief, persona, this and that, you are confused. You are afraid of making mistakes, especially because you have stepped out of your comfort zone, so you will be afraid of making mistakes. And what happens? Then you get the medicine, ready-made, with the self-price service, bam. Actually, it would be much simpler, as Joe is saying, and as he has shown us, right? So let's get to the topic of delegation. Specifically, So how do you organize yourself? I mean, you have these two guys, so I understand that one handles ads and the other takes care of everything related to product creation, book uploading. How do you coordinate your departments? So I started with one. Okay, so let's start with the books that are live. The guy optimizes them. Perfect, let's launch book one. So how do we proceed from here? How does your team move? And how do you move?
Yes, the first guy does keyword research for me. So every 2 weeks, I want him to constantly monitor the bestseller and bring out the new gems that come out, things like that. Once this is found, the currency, if it is really good, at this point prepares everything for me. So it prepares the brief and everything else. In the call, we see it. We see the brief. We see if everything is okay. We send the writer directly and start the project with him. Keep in mind that we have a weekly call, all three of us together. For the rest, we have our own Telegram group, and we always coordinate there. 3 is not many, guys. I mean, we are few. 1 is me. Without me, there are 2. As a result, they can continue to talk instantly there, and I monitor and respond when needed. At that point, what happens? Do we go into production with the book? The book arrives, and the same guy does the uploading, everything else, the cover, the brief, we look at it together, etc. When the book is ready and uploaded, that's when the other guy steps in, who takes care of the launch strategy and ads. So he handles all that part. Only the first guy has access to the platform to avoid confusion and strange issues, while the other one only has access to Amazon ads, and consequently, they interface to set up free promos rather than price management or things of that nature. We launch and go. We are organized in this way, and then after all the part related to the ads, there are some changes to be made. Then, in the meeting, we will discuss it, see the changes to be made, monitor the ads, understand how to behave, how to move.
So the guy who does the optimization, on one hand, optimizes, and on the other hand, also gives feedback to the other person and tells them, look, the ad data here is showing me that, I don't know, we have a little problem with the CTR. So here you need to check the cover. Look at the reviews, see what others are doing, and then they interact and basically tell each other what to do.
Exactly. Consider that. I try to do the first part of the call where we have topics that interest both of us. So, for example, let's take the ongoing projects in the first part of the call and discuss those. So how are the ads performing on these projects? Look here, we have this data, okay. So look here, we need to touch up this. We need to review this for a moment. Try to see if the market has changed on this cover. Check if the subtitle is still updated, if it's good, if it's not good, what we can do. Or let's try to understand if there's a problem, where the problem is, or how to optimize them. Okay. On the other hand, when we have finished this part here, if I need to talk to one or the other, we stay there. If not, only the one I need stays. I don't keep people with me, maybe for 2 hours doing a call when I need to see the briefs. Only with the first guy, or I need to see the ads only with the second. So I keep them only as long as necessary. Perfect.
Do they send you a weekly or perhaps a daily report? How does it work? Does it include operations? At what stage? Are they...
I don't use it, so I tried to use it. We had included it with Giuseppe, but I saw that the guys weren't following it. They were getting confused trying to use it for me. It's much better if I ask for constant updates. So, how's the project going? Oh yes, look, I sent it to the writer and he told me he'll give it back to me in 2 days. Okay, brief cover. Yes, look, we are ready. Clear. Ricardo, let's be clear. I mean, it's an operation that works given the numbers, and we achieved these numbers with 2 books. These numbers here.
That is 23,000 with 2 books.
With 2 books, consider this. Now, I say, can you get to 50 chapters organized this way? Well, maybe, yes, okay. Do you want more? You need to organize yourself a bit better. I know that this type of team is currently limited in terms of results, because if you want to achieve more, publish more books and everything else, you need to structure yourself a bit better. So as you say, having a Trello or the new tool that Giuseppe is using. I don't remember the name, but I don't even know if you've already revealed it, so I won't say anything.
I wasn't saying anything, he doesn't say anything.
With all those nice little things to manage various tasks, well, that's another very nice tool. Anyway, you need tools of this kind where, at a glance, without even talking to the team, you can understand what one person is doing, what the other is doing, and monitor yourself in this regard. And then, well, we have the classic management tools. So the optimization of ads, we have income and expenses, your classic stuff, let's say.
Yes, in my opinion, a team like this is fine for now. And go slowly, continue exactly with. In order to standardize the processes as much as possible, and then definitely, yes, to create something. But slowly, in my opinion, you could reach 50K with the team like this, also because you see, you did it with 2 books. So it doesn't take much more to get there. So it's good like this. And then, yes, at a certain point, the communications will become many. But it's really, really good. Because, guys, I don't know. I practically don't know anyone within this group who has done this type of path, in the sense that if there is already some difficulty in publishing, so doing it firsthand, where you have everything under control, coordinating and managing a team that organizes itself, has been tough, yes. Then obviously this pays off because you have a much more significant leverage, in the sense that, of course, your company, which is your company, reaches 23K, 30K, 50K, where you practically don't even press a button, you just use your head, which is what an entrepreneur should ultimately do, right? Just use your head. Utilize the resources. It's a lot of stuff.
Well, look, it's all a matter of capital. I mean, if you have the capital and you can afford it, you do it. If not, you don't. Okay? So I also started doing things on my own. In my main activity, I did the same. So you go through the whole process alone. If you want to level up, you need to understand that at some point, delegation is necessary. Even in the other activities I have, I delegate everything because otherwise I wouldn't be able to manage multiple activities simultaneously if I didn't delegate in this way.
Look, but I also fell in love with delegation. In certain aspects, even now, I struggle to let go of some others. But it's a fabulous thing. I mean, you have to monitor everything, organize. So there's a bit more difficulty at the beginning, especially in letting go of things, because you might say, no, but I would do it better, but I would do it this way. But no, they must have done it well. But no, I don't trust it. So at the beginning, it's a bit tough. Then when you find the right people, it's truly wonderful. I included the girl in my team for a project where I don't even need to tell her what to do anymore, but it's already there. I did this this way. Awesome.
When you find these people, it becomes a pleasure for you to pay them. Okay, you say it's really nice. I want to reward you. I want to encourage you so that you grow, stay, move forward, and actually take on this activity more and more as if it were your own.
Exactly. This brings 2 questions to mind. I know they will ask you later, but I'll ask them now. Compensation level to motivate them. Right. Because maybe you say, I give a fixed salary plus a percentage. I give only a percentage, to understand how to actually have motivated people within the team, right? Which I believe is fundamental.
So the first team was organized with me giving 10% to the one handling the has and 5% to the second guy who joined later for the whole book part. With the current guys, I talked to them and asked what they preferred, because that's something you need to ask as well. One guy preferred the percentage, so he is also on a 10% basis, while the other guy preferred a fixed amount. So in his case, we are giving him about 500 euros per month.
So it depends a bit because maybe you find an excellent net amount since we are talking about almost 60% net in the end. Because if you subtract 6K for expenses, subtract 3K for collaborators, you still end up with an excellent net amount. Sure. In my opinion, this is a really great, really smart thing because the guy who does the ads, it also makes me think that teams can be built within my group. If someone doesn't have a budget, a guy could start doing ads, and in 2 months he could make 2,300 euros, which is a decent salary, so to speak, for a guy who maybe didn't have the budget to start, to launch into another business, or simply to manage things.
Let's be clear. You mean ads for 2 books?
Sure.
Okay, Ricardo.
In fact, that's 2,300 euros. Thanks for telling me, Gio. 2,300 euros for, I don't want to exaggerate, 4 hours of work a month. 4 to 5 hours, I mean. Optimization, including calls. But how long does it take to optimize 2 books? 20 minutes. So, absolutely. On the other hand, the guy who is calm with a steady job is a big deal because I'm sure many would ask, but Gio, aren't you afraid that they'll steal your job, steal your keywords?
So, I say the keywords, Ricardo, it's pointless for us to just sit here and watch. There was a veil of mystery over these keywords that seemed like the end of the world, meaning paths to find the keywords, absurd methods to find the... This is another thing, Ricardo. Again, simplicity. For me, the word to add to your journey is simplicity, okay? This is what you do. And up all, on the keywords, it was another turning point. Before finding the keywords was a mystical thing, like who knows what I have to do, what it does. Bestseller, you pull down the whole Excel. You keep the Excel file there because you don't just discard the keywords, then you do periodic checks, insert them, and handle the whole process afterwards.
Then let's not say too much. Let's stay generic. The whole programming phase that follows is what matters. Understanding where to place your asset, etc., etc. But if you notice, even here it's about simplifying because you complicate, and then the books on profitable keywords and the software for this and that are very, very simplified. In fact, I always say, guys, get rid of this keyword thing. I mean, simple. They are the ones.
Well, I think keywords are no longer a problem today. I mean, if someone has the patience to do a week's research, let's say if they dedicate a week, but not even a whole week, just 2 hours a day.
I'm telling you this because, well, by now, those who are in this group, no, absolutely not. It happened that I heard the guys maybe asking me for information here and there. And this guy looks at me and says, you know, I have 6 books. I think I could do more. I asked him, well, what books do you have? Let me understand. So they say maybe there's potential. And no, I can't tell you my choices. So I wanted to specify this thing, guys. I'm telling you, Gio is telling you.
No, I'm not afraid that they will leave. I'll tell you something, Ricardo. People are free to leave, so I can't hold them back in any way. With me, they must and can feel good, and they stay as long as they feel good. So, what do they have with me that they might not have on their own? Well, for starters, the risk is 0 because in the end, it's my butt on the line. And if things go well, I do well. If things go badly, like with the first team, I'm the one who loses out. Period. Secondly, the amount of information I gather, because while the team works there, I am constantly searching for information. Okay, and consequently, I stay updated, so I can also give the team an extra boost, meaning dividing the tasks in this way. It's clear that if someone says, no, look, I want to challenge myself because I want to do exactly what you do, then good luck to you. I must say, if you feel that it is yours and you want to do it, do it.
Then I say, it's not for everyone in the sense that no, because many people say, oh no, then maybe someone tries and you teach them everything, but it's not true. I mean, guys, there are those who have entrepreneurial ambitions. So they say, I want to reach 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K. And there are those who are happy to work a little to earn a good income relative to the work they've done and are content with that. I mean, there are people who obviously go to work for 1,200 euros a month. I mean, I'll give you 2,300 euros this month to optimize my ads, working 10 hours. 5 hours, I have to do 5 hours in a month, 2,300. When they hit 40 to earn 1,002. That is America, and I go to the Canary Islands, I grow my own crops, I go fishing, I go surfing, and I work 5 hours a month. Not everyone necessarily wants to embark on an entrepreneurial path.
Also, because as a coach, what I always teach is precisely this. When we set a goal, it is important to understand that there is a price to pay for that goal. So, do you want to reach 50K a month? Yes. Okay, nice. But know that to get here, there's everything else to pay for, meaning you can't just think you'll go drink mojitos and reach 50K a month. Okay, I have a child, which means that if I do it myself, it means dedicating less time to the child. It means a series of things that fortunately I did in the past, and today I can afford to delegate in this way. You need to take these into consideration if you want to start.
Absolutely. The girls on the team are willing or feel ready to embark on a specific path, so it's fine like this. Absolutely.
Not to mention the part related to ads. I mean, I was talking to a guy the other day and I told him I want to reach 100K. Nice, 100K in publishing. Very nice. He was another publisher. And do you know what it takes to reach 100K in publishing? I mean, just think about 30% of ads.
For 3 months?
Would you stay out for 90K? In short, then don't even set 100K as a goal today. Set the goals that you feel you can achieve today. And
it is also important to plan ahead there to avoid difficulties later. Obviously, I'm telling you these things now, right? And I'm explaining them to you. But why? Because they happened in the past. I mean, I found myself in situations where I had to spend 20, 30K on ads for 2 to 3 months of exposure. And let me continue. Maybe it's the local ones, the public ones. I want to climb, I want to climb, I want to climb. And then after 20K passes, they are there.
There is also a problem, Ricardo, that sometimes you can't plan for it because, for example, with us, the book, in particular, there was one that exploded, and this book here exploded. So, what do? You see this book here taking off. Its BSR drops below 1,000, and you ask yourself, do I push it or not?
I made it for him first. I would give it to him.
Yeah, me too. But you know, when you see the ads coming at you every day and they show you significant amounts, not everyone decides to give in. There's that too. So guys, don't be afraid to delegate because all companies delegate. Why do most companies, most people, not go on to open the same company they work for? Because there is a price to pay, and most people do not want to pay it. And here it is the same. Show them a couple of times how the ads work. When they understood that, then maybe you find someone who wants to leave and maybe you find another form of collaboration because look at Ricardo and Giuseppe, for example. Neither of them wanted to be a subordinate, an employee, so they teamed up and started a company. Who's stopping you from doing something like that? Maybe this guy here will become good, very good. You can share the risk, maybe start another business together and share the risk. It's not that you necessarily have to lose it. It's not just black or white. There are various shades.
I believe that when a person is valuable, they should be kept in the team, regardless of, let's say, their wishes. I mean, not their wishes. I mean, we force them, we remove them, we keep them there. In the sense that if he says he wants to grow, so he no longer wants to be subordinate, he wants to go independent, that is, rather offer a collaboration than lose a valuable person.
If it's worth it, if it's a little horse, which is hard to find these little horses, you are really a little horse. It makes you aware of this desire. And guys, I know it well because it comes from within. I mean, Ricardo, you must have felt this too. At a certain point, it comes out when you are working for someone and you can't take it anymore. You feel this desire eating you up inside. And I put myself in this guy's shoes. If he ever says something like that to me, I say, let's think about it, because if you're really that good, how much can you increase my business turnover? So it makes sense for me to tell you, okay, listen, let's make a plan where we start increasing your percentage and I integrate you until we reach an agreement.
Sure. Based on what you give me. Deserved. Sure. I'll take the 10. Oh no, bye. I want the 20. No, wait. Wait. You have to earn the 20. You have to prove that is, if I give you the 20, it's because you deserve the 20, not because you want 20. So obviously you need to understand, you need to evaluate people, but certainly the percentage is a very intelligent, very important thing. I advise people who have reached certain levels not to remain stuck in the sense that you say, oh yes, I make 30K a month with publishing. I do everything myself. I tinker with everything myself in my spare time, or I only do this. But obviously it inevitably takes up your time. If we don't want to talk about physical time, it takes up mental time. Okay? So the fact that I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to touch that. So I recommend delegating the parts that can be delegated and using your mind to think about how to make more money. So, how to expand yourself, and then, of course, delegate the operational tasks. As I was saying, this girl here is another project. The first month was on salary, as I saw the direct percentage value. Sure.
When they deserve it, it's right to step on the gas, because otherwise it's clear that they will leave. Otherwise, in that case, they will leave, and they will leave quickly. Actually, I was just talking about it earlier. I had a live session with some of my students, and we were discussing the current situation, specifically the fact that people today are seeking happiness. Right. People no longer want to go to work just to earn 1,200 or 1,300 euros. If you think about your grandparents. Okay, our grandparents. I mean, happiness. Go to work, keep quiet, bring home the paycheck because we have to pay the bills. Forget about happiness. Okay, today, happiness, the word happiness, is something that is commonplace. I am leaving the job because I am not happy. And we are entering an era where companies will have to downsize, Ricardo, in my opinion, from this point of view. So we are entering a very win-win era. It is about being among the first to give people an opportunity to fall in love with what they are doing and to reward them in return, of course, without having to bleed yourself dry, because you can't just do a 50-50 split with anyone who walks by, but gradually integrating percentages, growing maybe, giving them bonuses, doing certain types of things. This you can do gradually as earnings increase.
But yes, this is a bit of my philosophy on everything in the end. Happy collaborator, happy entrepreneur. That is, for example, I am happy to pay someone more because at the moment you say I am paying them more. I could have more money. In my opinion, this is a poor scarcity mindset in the sense that the pie is this size, so if I give him a smaller piece, I have a bigger piece for myself. No, because if the actions of a motivated person, instead of someone who is annoyed because they dislike you for earning 30K while you give them 500, a motivated person probably brings actions and things to the table that make you more money. So you have gained, not lost, by paying them more. Obviously, it depends on all the situations. These are general discussions.
Exactly. But giving him the opportunity, as you say, is important. That is if you feel capped. What did I do with these two guys? I asked them if they wanted a fixed salary or a percentage. One asked for a fixed salary, the other for a percentage. One is fine, capped, and sure of what he will get. The other is not. If I had capped the other one with a fixed salary, I probably would have lost him. Guys, it comes to me, it explodes, it makes me 2 more books that go this way. But guys, there's no problem in lowering the percentage from 20 to 15. How much it has increased for me to have a person like this compared to the other one who, 500 euros is much more static. From there, you understand, Ricardo. If a person is willing to take the business risk, if they want to share the business risk with you, relatively, because in the end, the risk is always yours, okay? The business risk in the sense that if the business doesn't go well, he doesn't get paid. So, if they feel like taking this risk and you start from scratch today, in my experience, collaborators are interesting.
Absolutely. It always depends on the tasks. Meaning that, for example, with ads, I think a collaboration with a percentage is needed. If the tasks are easier, meaning more straightforward things like do this in this way, maybe less so, then the ads are really a delegated point, and a fixed salary is also possible. It depends, in my opinion, on a matter of personality. Obviously, the people who inspire me the most are those who work on a percentage basis. I have always done that myself. In fact, before starting publishing, I always worked on a percentage basis and earned a lot of money, even before starting with publishing. That's how I financed my publishing, right? However, I have always collaborated on a percentage basis with other entities. That's where you truly measure yourself, where you show your worth. But others say, I don't want to do this stuff, give me 500,000 euros, and I'll spend my afternoons walking with my girlfriend without having to think. That's fine, but it's not like that.
You also need those, that is, you also need those.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Otherwise, if
Everyone wanted to do, also because you give him all the boring parts, let's say, to him. To the other one, the one who doesn't want to do the other thing, you treat your prized horse a bit well, right? So what he doesn't want to do, if possible, you make the other one do it. If you lose the other one, but guys, you can find as many as you want. For 500 euros, I mean.
Because even there, 500 euros, someone in our sector might say 500 euros is not much, but here we lose the sense of numbers for a book. It's not much, but it's not little either, because I assure you there are people who go to work in a factory or fold underwear at Tizinis, with all due respect, for 700 euros a month. Okay, 700 euros a month, 800 euros a month where they have to pay for gas, car costs, maintenance, hassle, leaving the house, eating out. So I don't even want to know how much they have left. Then you find a person who you pay 500 euros, 700 euros. They stay at home with their PC. There are people who would kiss the ground. Here they see your results. They see your results.
So just yesterday, I was watching an interview with a very famous person, very famous, an important person in the American mafia. And this person was saying, you see, I was making a lot of money with this activity, and my collaborator came to me saying, I want more money. Okay, this money is not enough for me. And he said, look, no problem. If this money is not enough for you, find another job. And he left him at home, okay? Then he took him back because he understood the point. That is, if he stayed at home, he was already making, I don't remember, I'll give you a random figure, 5 to 6,000 euros for dedicating 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, doing a really ridiculous task. But where else would you find a job that pays you this amount for 3 hours of work? It's that you were counting with my pockets, so you look at what comes to me. Yes, but you don't know the anxiety I feel, the calculations, how much I have to watch my back, what I have to do to get to this point. I mean, you don't know all the rest, everything that's behind it. You only see the money coming in that you bring me, okay? Well, it doesn't work like that. And here for us, it's the same exact thing. You don't know what's behind it, because with some projects I go to sleep, I'm still thinking about them, because delegating is fine, but remembering the first time, the second time I didn't make the same mistakes. So sometimes I go to sleep and I'm still thinking about that project, but damn, how can I differentiate myself there, or add that little extra something that gives me that push that, okay, and managing, for example, money, planning. I mean, you still have all this part to do. And it's not a small task, guys.
All right, Joe, let's make some room for a few questions. Go ahead. Let's see what they say a little bit. So, okay, we've already talked about the compensation. Are the members of your team Italian or foreign?
Italians. They are Italians.
At the beginning, you used company, right?
Yes.
What method do you use for using keywords? The only one that exists, I suppose.
The best method, the best seller.
Okay. It's like in a marriage, happy wife, happy life.
Right.
Michael Franzese, yes. Go ahead, guys. Ask your questions. We are here at your disposal. Where did you find your collaborators?
So, as I mentioned before, being a coach, trainer in other areas, I found them there. By collaborating and training them as coaches for this reality, I was able to train them and see their potential. So, from there, I captured them and said, listen, guys, do you want to embark on this entrepreneurial adventure with me? And they said yes. So from there, I started with the specific publishing training.
If they are Italian, how do you pay them? Am I subscribed to VAT?
Hey, that's a great question. So, Sandro, I always invite you to consult a tax advisor to discuss how to pay collaborators and things of that nature. How do I pay them? This is a difficult question. Ricardo, come to my aid. Use of creatives.
Everyone has their own methods. For the workshops, it depends on how one is classified fiscally and how they are classified fiscally. So it's a bit of a complex discussion. They could set an example. For you, if they haven't registered for VAT, they can provide occasional services.
Exactly. In fact, at this moment, they are doing it exactly this way. And then we are analyzing how they can do it, basically.
For example, the boy gives 500 euros for occasional work, ending up with 5,000 a year, so he is practically covered for 10 months of the year. So there's no need to study it further. The other Rayas charges slightly higher rates and needs to handle his own taxes, so he will invoice the company, regardless of whether he has a VAT number or any other type of registration.
Whatever he wants. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. In fact, we are heading in this direction. Now, let's say that we have had this wonderful problem for a few months. And as a result, we are still in the process of examining it in depth.
Niches. Also because, guys, Amazon pays every 2 months. So this problem doesn't exist now. Obviously because Johnny is focusing on that aspect.
I am fine with the company, so I am more than calm. Instead, we are focusing on the collaborators. Yes, absolutely yes.
The niches are self-help and in a cookbook. For experiences on Fiverr, which nationalities do you recommend and not recommend for writing the book?
I don't look at nationality, but rather at the writing of the book itself. So having done 40 of them, we tried 3 writers actually. Of these 3, I found that 2 work a bit better. In the end, I leave the other one aside, unless I really need all 3. If I do, I'll use it, but otherwise, no. I use those 2 at first, but I don't look at where you're from. I'm interested in how you work.
It was so difficult to find them, Gio, because I'm being asked this question often. I see a bit of perplexity. So it was really difficult.
Look, it's just a matter of will, Ricardo. It's solely and exclusively a matter of will. I mean, I see one important thing, that people stop at 2 points. The first is in keyword research, because that's laziness, guys. I mean, it's laziness because today, with the explanation given by Ricardo or Giuseppe, I don't remember which of the 2. It seems like you who talk about it. The keyword discussion. Exactly, with the talk that Ricardo gives in the course, it's impossible not to find keywords. It's just that if it's the first time you're seeing them, it's normal that you need to understand what a keyword is, so you have to struggle with it a bit, okay? And that's where many people already stop. The same goes here. You fill out your file, contact people. You can do it all in a day. You can do it all in one day. Basically, you can do whatever you want as long as you do it. Okay? It's just that it's a bit boring at the beginning, you know. You have to sit down and do it, period.
Yes, there is no secret recipe. You sit there, write to them, see how long it takes for them to respond, what price you can get, test them, and check the quality.
You might have them send you books they have already written. Clearly, you can see what they have done, what they haven't done. And then they still need to be tested.
Sure.
I mean, make a book and see. I mean, a book costs $100, $150. Okay. Try it and see what happens.
Of all the others from Fiverr,
You are protected. Well done.
you do not accept the delivery, and that platform refunds your money.
Love, I took them out. Ricardo, we took them out later when we got to know them. We took them out to avoid fever. But no, I mean the first test.
I would do the first test on Fiverr, see how the situation is, then take them out. Once you have taken them out, what do? I pay half at the beginning, half at the end. So you send me the book, I check it with Ternity. I like it, good. If I don't like it, wait to get the money until you do it, as I say. So, absolutely. For the new lessons, where is the form? I will put it up for you later. I'll make a post, guys, with the form. So fill in your first and last name. And if you would like to do a video review, click yes, and you will be told what to say. Then you will receive a small gift. What did you not like about the other groups? Or the other training videos where you were? Or group? I think it meant the other team. Okay, I don't know. Just in case, let's move on to the next one. If you specify it. Okay, or if not, we will answer both. So, what did you not like about the other group or the other groups, maybe in terms of training? What did you not like about your previous group? Work-wise, your team, your old team.
So, what I didn't like about the other groups was the lack of transparency, which I didn't interpret as a lack of transparency at all, but rather as a lack of knowledge. While Ricardo is already a bit more prejudiced and says it's something done on purpose. And since he has worked behind the scenes on some projects, I take his diversion as valid. I was much more naive in this regard, so I would say, no, they took the course of the one who brought it here from America. The one from America said, that's how it's done. And these people stayed with, that's how it's done. So the research, whoever wants it, is like this. That one is like this. The other is like this. Yes, then, there are some evolutions, but the knowledge is exactly that. Exactly. They don't know this information. They haven't figured it out either. For them, publishing is 80-20 period. I took it this way, in good faith. So the lack of transparency definitely didn't sit well with me. It's much better here. I'm very happy to have chosen the best package available with you and to have trusted you. Absolutely a journey I would start over from the beginning. The keyword, simplicity, which you will surely remember after how many times I've mentioned it tonight, with which you have shown me this business, is phenomenal. So this concerns other groups. This carelessness, you know, the lack of transparency, the carelessness. I haven't even heard from any group this desire to sell so much, to be honest, like to upsell you things. Okay, I've heard it much more in other fields, such as marketing or copywriting, where I've noticed this tendency to upsell you things constantly. Instead, here in other groups, no, but you always have to find a bit of the magic secret to achieve results. There isn't a real method that allows you to. You need to take the course to develop the mindset, the course to develop the book, the course to develop the cover, the course for keyword research if you want to understand the secrets. Guys, I told you from the beginning, I am and behave like an entrepreneur. So for me, any information I can have in advance or that I can have compared to others is gold. Okay. So the courses, when I see things coming out, if they are made by people with a minimum of history, and if there is a connection in what they do, I take them to brain, meaning I don't even think about taking them because one piece of information is enough for me. But just think about the damage I would have done to myself if I hadn't taken Riccardo Giuseppe's course.
And this is a beautiful topic because many people say, and in my opinion, it's something that really makes my ears bleed. They say, oh, but I took a certain type of course. What do I need another course for? What do you mean? What do you need another course for? How come? I mean, what does it mean? I have taken dozens and dozens of courses, and if another one comes out in a field that interests me, I take it immediately. Here, people feel stupid and say, I have already taken another one. Why should I buy another one? But what does it matter, for example, in marketing? Of course, if there is another course by someone who has shown interesting results, who has demonstrated a different methodology, who has successful case studies, I rush to buy it. I rush to buy it. It's not like I'm devastated because I haven't already bought another one.
But absolutely, absolutely yes. But look, even in publishing, tomorrow you might get an American or German trainer who throws out information that makes you wonder, what do I do? I don't buy it because I am the #1 top trainer in Italy, but you buy it on the fly because you just need one more piece of information that you can then pass on to your community, making a very important evolutionary leap.
I know that there are people in the American market. In fact, when I talked about Mereco, I was referring to the Italian rule, because in the American market, I know for sure that there are people making $1 million a month with publishing. I am seeking the impossible to get in touch with these people. But of course, they have to go there immediately. Absolutely understood. Let's see the next question.
On the other hand, what I didn't like about the other group of my staff, let's say my team, was the attitude. So I started with just one person. I put him on a commission basis right away, and it went very well for a while. However, we were always in the 80-20 range. So I hadn't started any path with you yet. It was just a matter of publishing. That's where I made the Mediterranean, which I was telling you about earlier, with 1,500 real recipes, so not fake, real ones. Give this man a medal. Let's give a medal to those who waste the most capital on books. So what did we do there? By the way, that was the first project that convinced me to work with this collaborator here. So I let him do it. I supervised, but I let him do it. I gave him the go-ahead. We did a series of projects. They didn't go as we wanted, and with him, I realized that there was an important problem. He came from the affiliate world, so ads were his thing, okay? I mean, he loved ads. But the part of the book for him was an incredible thing. I mean, he published my books, but didn't even put the initials in bold. In uppercase, the whole title in lowercase. That is, he did things that were really absurd. While this guy over here made himself very visible to me. So what did I do to shake things up a bit? I integrated this here and divided it in these two ways, meaning you think about the ads and you think about this. Today, even today, choosing two still seems like a good idea because I could have just one. Yes, absolutely yes. And you can manage even with just one at the beginning. You can start with one, but I wouldn't keep just one because if this one leaves, you have to train another one. And guys, that's a problem because it means you have to get back into it yourself. And when you delegate and then have to completely take over something again when you're used to delegating it, well, it means, especially for those who have many activities or many things to do, it means completely reallocating your time. It's not always easy. Okay. And then it also means having to go back to doing things that you might not even want to do anymore. or even where you have lost your touch a bit, in the sense that you monitor where you have lost your touch, of course.
The ads, the things that is.
You need to be super sharp. You are good at the strategic level. You keep maintaining, but then where do I press the button? What do I do if the platform changes? You won't know how to do it anymore.
One is the most dangerous number in business. Filipinos are the best. Okay, open freelancer.
What exactly is the book of your displays?
Self-help. How did you train the collaborator? Did you take the first steps together with them, then leave them alone?
Yes, absolutely. So when they came in, I started having them take the first steps, giving them tasks, and then we would look at how these tasks were done together. And then little by little, I let them make their first mistakes. So, guys, an important thing with collaborators is that they will make the first mistakes. So, mistakes are a very important part of your learning process. I have a little baby. My little one is 10 months old. And, guys, every time he tries to sit up, he falls to the ground. Try to crawl instead of moving forward, you go backward. And those are his mistakes. Mistakes should no longer be seen as something negative. They should be seen as feedback. And feedback is what you are doing. It is not what you need to achieve the result. But to understand what leads you to the result clearly, you will need to take feedback. It is true that you are there. You see him fall. You pick him up, you give him a hand, and you say, wait, come with me and I'll show you how to do it. However, this does not mean not letting him make his own mistakes. Otherwise, it's called being dependent. Then you have to choose whether you want an employee or a collaborator. And often if you want to train a thoroughbred, it's not an employee. Okay, with neither of the two teams do I remember. A serious scolding. So guys, this isn't good. It needs to be redone. Look here, look there. This is clear. It's daily. We need to check, we need to do, but a serious scolding has never happened with either of the two teams.
Yes, I agree with you. In my opinion, you should never keep anyone under a glass bell because they need to be able to make mistakes, realize them, and fix them. Otherwise, you are always there supervising, always there behind them. And it's like with a child. When you take the training wheels off the bike, they will fall. But what do? Do you leave the training wheels on for life? So at 40 years old, will they ride a bike with training wheels? But then he will fall and realize how not to fall again, right?
Then try to do one thing, to limit the harm that can be done, limit the damage, okay? Do you want to send the child on a bicycle? Put the helmet and elbow pads on him, the knee pads, and send the kid out. Let him experiment, otherwise, my friends, it's the same. It's the collaborator. You put all the protections on him too, which are actually your protections. So once you've explained well how to access Amazon, if you use VPS, if you use these things here, and there, you make sure that these things are understood very, very well. He must not have access to money, so everything related to money goes through you. This is clear. Okay, guys, it's not like I'm handing him the card, so you can do it too. I completely advise against it at the beginning. So when the person is not capable, they bring you the brief, and you send out the order. You talk to the writer and send out the order. You place the order for the cover, so you handle the payments and money management. Later on, you can gradually delegate that to them as well. But we get there with time.
Little by little. For $100 book, can you also have the chop proof done by another person?
No, not currently. So consider that. The one that took off was making about 300 sales a day. Yes, more or less something like that.
Raise the price.
No, because I had a price strike. I didn't raise it for that reason. So, in that case, I also had it done by someone, an Indian or a Pakistani, whoever it was. He made the book for me. But 0 negative reviews. Not a single negative review. The other one, the cookbook, in that case, was done by the other person I mentioned before. The third one that I practically don't use anymore. In that case, they bombarded it with negative reviews. It depends. You know what I've seen. It depends on the book. Yes, on the writer, but also on the niche. So it is clear that a self-help book that explains certain things to me, if there is a grammatical error, it matters less than if a cookbook writer makes grammatical errors. Second, when you run it through the grammar checker or Word, you might already find some errors yourself, and you can correct them manually. Okay, on the other hand, it's much easier to get negative reviews on a cookbook because, there was a very, very detailed review under this cookbook where someone wrote, here you wrote to add 1 teaspoon and 14 of oil. Okay, it's clear these are things that writers do. They put in random numbers, or I've seen reviews around where this dish is said to have 70 calories, but it's not possible because it contains something that must have 300 calories. Hey guys, you already know that's how it is, even if you do proofreading. Proofreading can't correct the recipe. It doesn't know what the recipe is like. So what does proofreading correct? Yes, it corrects some things. I'm considering including a proofreader for the next projects. Yes, this is true.
What I do is launch without proof. Absolutely, definitely. If I have a book that deserves it, like John's, for example, then yes or no. But if you practically paid for a book, if you earned it, we can say, I will have it proofread. I will have a proof done and put it back in, but I will test the book with as little money as possible. Then, when the time comes, I reinvest some of the budget to strengthen it, including your review and, of course, your quality. Quality. Then we always talk here. I go to fix what needs to be fixed. So, have you ever had a book blocked on Amazon? If so, how did you resolve it?
So, they blocked a book of mine on Amazon and also banned me, not for that same book, but they did block the book. Yes, like for the cover, usual copyright stuff. I had sent them the invoice from Shutterstock and they unlocked the book for me. However, the book that got shipping, I think it's about shipping container homes, was blocked for being misleading. Despite writing to Amazon, they never responded to me. He always told me, look, don't ask for anything anymore because we won't reactivate your account, period. Now, since it's the same account that was linked to the Audible books, I'm trying to contact the company. I don't know if this has been spoiled for you or not, but Giuseppe told me. So the company that helps you unlock for the bans.
A bit in private to provide these contacts here.
Yes, I won't say anything because I don't know where and how much you have spoiled.
Exactly. Anyway, yes, there are people who can help you on both sides. Absolutely. So, do you only do the US?
Do I only do US? Well, I only do US, relatively. As a market, yes, but for ads, no. I want all markets. But for books, for now, yes, I only have US. Do you like other cookbooks? Yes, absolutely. Well, cookbooks are very, very interesting books. There are still some things I want to figure out about the cookbooks, but how? Guys, what revolves around cookbooks is impressive. The numbers are there to see. Clearly, today, with today's awareness, I tell you to go publishing on Mediterranean diet. Expect to spend so much on ads that it's impressive.
The fields of fire.
Yes, I mean, don't go there with a budget of 50 euros a day. Forget the budget of the generic Mediterranean diet. They don't exist.
But if it starts there too, you have to go to 700 euros.
Of course, at least in the initial period, Ricardo, because our self-help book was done the same way. That is, in the initial period we pushed. a lot of ads, and the results were mediocre. At a certain point, it took off, so we were spending a lot on ads, and nothing. At a certain point, Libra took off, and when it did, it was impressive, meaning when it takes off, if you give it gas, you get these results.
At the beginning, sure, you might feel a bit breathless, you might break even or fall a bit short with the ads, but once they take off, you absolutely explode. But yes, that's why it's important to plan for the ads, as we mentioned earlier. On Mediterranean Diet, someone with the budget can calculate the exposure. And here too, I have updated the course lessons that will be released. I will explain exactly how to calculate the exposure of ads, obviously, but in broad terms, not down to the cent, how to organize it, and how to reduce the exposure from 2 months to 1 month. Are you working on Ingram Space and what you done?
So I used Ingram in the past, but now I don't even know if Ingram is still active, if you can publish or not. It's not something I use anymore. Before, yes, I used to make money, but not that much, guys. I made around 5,000 euros for a few months before all the chaos happened. There I was, very, very good at checking no to returns. So when I published my books, I put no on all of them. I didn't want any returns, so that thing was successful.
There are many people who are now being served letters from lawyers because many included the returns, included the paper. Then the smart one said, let's eliminate the paper because everything is like this. Anyway, and now the lawyers' letters are arriving.
Look, I've heard all sorts of things about Ingram, so I'm not surprised that platform did that, because the last story Giuseppe told me in Dubai was about a guy, I won't name names, but he made 1 million, I think he said, with Ingram.
Let's lay out a truly pitiful discussion here, unfortunately, but also how it was promoted, in my opinion, and everything.
Sure, clear.
It was promoted as the panacea for victims. Strategies that abuse the platform were given. And this is what happens with good Italians. Okay, what niche was it? Did Sandro Self-App Cookbook say it? Are you thinking of selling the account?
Yes, when there's a bit of history, yes, because right now it's brand new. So as soon as I have a bit of history, yes, absolutely, guys. In the meantime, I diversify because if there's a risk of a ban, Amazon is completely unpredictable. Therefore, I diversify across multiple accounts. And then, yes, I aim to sell them. Absolutely, yes. This thing about selling is too interesting.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Then you made 3 accounts. It's a lot. Then you made 3 accounts, which I think is very smart. You diversify the risk. And then, anyway, it means that you are making significant numbers. But there are the 3 accounts, so to speak, that are smaller and therefore go more easy. I mean, I know of people who have sold, even with accounts of 4K, 5K that have sold at 180 for a year of history. So 3 accounts mean you are still making 12K net per month. 15 small accounts per month, which is not crazy. And you sell them if you are already talking about €500,000. So it can be a great strategy. In my opinion, this comfortable attack. It was promoted as the El Dorado. Yes, yes. The vaccine, but then the results were seen just like the codes at the time were promoted as the panacea. But obviously, like every trick, it eventually ends. Every trick eventually ends.
Of all evils, but obviously, like every trick, it is destined to end. That is, you can't. Then there are things that can be ridden for heaven's sake. Then everyone makes their own choices, but you can't build a mystery on it. Look, I thought about it, Ricardo. I thought a lot about both the ACX codes discussion, which I didn't experience because, as I said, I arrived later, but I see that cyclically, in the publishing world, there are opportunities. And I tell you, could I have taken better advantage of the Ingram part? Yes, because I did everything properly. So I divided my books, I published my books, I did everything the way it should be done. Okay, today, with hindsight, I tell you, but excuse me for a moment, I would have hired a writer on Fiverr, or rather, I would have hired 5, 10, 15 writers on Fiverr and had them produce books endlessly.
Yes, there are those who have done it. But in my opinion, this is what caused the problems.
I understand. You are right.
Then it always depends on which side you look at it from, of course.
So you're right, but you set aside a little million. So I tell you, if you don't cause the problem, others will, because it wasn't just one person doing these things. It was multiple people. Okay, maybe you set aside a million. You say, okay, for now I've set aside a million. Now let's start again with the rest. Then it is clear that this is the Italian mindset, because if we were in America, we would have worked well on Ingram and this would still be paying off now. But since you know that this is how we think here, it is not something I like, because honestly, I prefer to work correctly. And that's what I have done, by the way. But I say today I put away 5K by doing my books. There are people who have made a million or even more.
Sure. But in any case, it should be taken for what it is. You can't just take it and think of,
It's not business. Come on, it's not a business. It's a little trick. It's a little magic trick.
that is meant to last as long as I find. So, are you happy?
No. Satisfied him.
With the experience accumulated, even considering the initial national expenses, in which niche would you recommend publishing to someone who is starting now?
That's a great question. Honestly, I wouldn't look at the niche, but from the bestseller, I would look at the projects that are doing better at the moment, that are emerging. In other words, I look at who can give me the greatest opportunities. Okay, then I also check the offer. So if I see that Mediterranean diet, for example, is giving me numbers that are astonishing, there are really significant profits. Okay, but guys, the competitiveness on Mediterranean diet is high. So either I am already a somewhat experienced publisher with a solid backing and ready to handle the ads, or otherwise I don't go for that type of keyword. Instead, I go for another type of keyword, like when shipping containers were invented, or when chess for beginners started. I go for keywords that are explosive and can offer a lot. But the competition is not as significant as with more established keywords.
But moreover, the right question to ask would be, or rather should be added at this moment. That is, it's not so much about business expenses, it's about what is trending right now. For example, now, thinking, what period are we heading into? Spring. What will work so well in spring? Then there will be another question. And obviously, as Gio said, by following and looking for a low offer, you will obviously spend little first of all. So now what are we going to do? Spring. So what will there be? Gardening. Then what is there in the summer? Barbecues, open craft, office, all these things.
Exactly. And so here you are already setting a limit for yourself. By considering the initial ad expenses, you are limiting your potential profit to the ads. So it's right to take them into account because, as we said before, if you plan to publish on Mediterranean thinking of spending 100 euros a month on ads, forget it. Okay, so it's clear that you have to deal with the budget you have available. Absolutely, yes. On the other hand, if you have capital, don't limit yourself. Look at how much that project can yield and the competitiveness. So I would compare these two things.
I agree with you. Come on, guys. I would say one last question. Let's go a bit. A good, intelligent question. But guys, indeed, are there no questions?
Thank you very much, both of you. Don't mention it. All right, guys. We are waiting for the last question. Let's see who the brave one is tonight. Then we'll let Joe go. Since he has a small child, it's gotten late tonight. Okay, no questions, guys. So, what do I do then? Future goals. Future goals. Absolutely. Now we need to raise the bar and diversify with books because two are too few. We have just now started to understand the mechanism as a team, to get into gear as a team. So, over the next few months, the first goal is 50K. And from there on, we will continue to set ourselves bigger and bigger goals.
Perfect. Perfect. So, guys, we will soon hear back from Gio if he has reached us at 50 cat. We will update the interview. Okay. Guys, I would tell you about another great live session we had tonight. Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here. I thank Gio for his time. Congratulations on the results achieved. For the seriousness put into the process and also for how you approached it, because you are the first to have organized it this way with a team. So very interesting. Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you all. Bye, guys. Bye. Organized this way with a team. So very, very interesting.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo, and thank you all.